a tough loss. Bedlam heads to the ice rink. And basketball is underway for the Cowgirls. All this and more coming up right here on the Poke Report. Hello everyone and welcome to week 6 of the Poke Report. I'm Alex Esky.
And I'm Asa Lucas. We have a great show lined up for you this week, so let's dive right into it.
We are outside of Boone Pickens Stadium standing on the Sherman E. Smith Training Center turf where our Cowboys practice each week.
Speaking of practice, the Cowboys will definitely need it this week after a crushing loss to Kansas State. Our own Noah Weber has the recap.
Spooky season means Halloween and crucial in-conference college football matchups across the country. The number 9 Oklahoma State Cowboys had their 5th conference game of the season on Saturday afternoon as they traveled to Manhattan to battle the number 22 Kansas State Wildcats. On their first drive of the game, K-State quarterback Will Howard finds Cade Warner for a 38-yard touchdown. K-State leads 7-0. Less than 3 minutes later, Deuce Vaughn took this run 62 yards all the way to the house for another Wildcat touchdown. K-State leads 14-0. About 5 minutes later, OSU quarterback Spencer Sanders finds Brennan Presley for what would have been a 29-yard pickup, but K-State linebacker Austin Moore forces the fumble to give the ball back to the Wildcats. Moving ahead to the second quarter, Howard finds Phillip Brooks for the 31-yard strike to give the Wildcats a 21-0 lead. On their next drive, K-State finds the end zone again. Howard finds Warner for his second touchdown of the day. Wildcats lead 28-0. With just 7 seconds remaining in the first half, Howard finds Vaughn for a 1-yard score, his second touchdown of the day. K-State now leads 35-0. The Wildcats scored their final points of the game with under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter on a 6-yard run from DJ Giddens. The Wildcats defeated the Cowboys 48-0 to move to 4-1 in Big 12 conference play. This blowout loss was the first time the Cowboys have been shut out since 2009 when they lost 27-0 to OU. The Cowboys had several injuries going into last week, and this many injuries to key players caused OSU head coach Mike Gundy to alter the style of practice in order to protect these injured players. Gundy blames part of this loss on their preparation and lack of physicality in practice.
I didn't do a good job this week. I was concerned about a variety of things this week. We didn't practice like we normally practice, and that's my fault. And that's what you get. I apologized to the team.
OSU wide receiver John Paul Richardson is still confident in his team and said the goal for the team does not change going forward.
Yeah, just take it kind of, with a chip on your shoulder, and this is a feeling that you remember and you don't want to ever go through again. So just focus and practice this week, and just give it our all throughout the week and bust our tails and see what happens.
The Cowboys will look to bounce back this week as they battle the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday afternoon. For the Poke Report, I'm Noah Weber.
Thanks, Noah, for the recap. Kickoff is at 2:30 this Saturday in Lawrence. Alex, you got to cover that horrific game. I still can't believe what happened. What did you see in Manhattan? What was it like?
It was more of what I didn't see from the team. Everyone was texting, I turned the game off, and I said, I wish I could turn the game off, but I was on the field with our loyal and true Cowboys, and hopefully this is the reset we needed going into the later half of the season.
Okay, so we're going to push past the game and now kind of talk about the atmosphere. What was the Little Apple? Does it live up to the hype?
It for sure does. Now, obviously, I wish the game outcome was different, but I loved going to Manhattan, Kansas. Everyone was so nice. The campus was beautiful. We got to meet some people, and it was great to go. We're going to give you guys a deeper look into what game day atmosphere is like at Kansas State. Noah Blackwell has the scoop.
The atmosphere at college football stadiums attract millions of people every fall. Constant debate between Big Ten and SEC schools on best game day atmosphere is a given, but often overlooked are the small college towns in the Big 12. That brings me to Manhattan, Kansas, 58 miles west of the state capital and the site of Kansas State University.
I think Manhattan is one of those little treasures that people don't understand. It's off of the interstate, so you have to go there to experience it. You can't just go through it. And it's just one of those, the limestone buildings on the campus are beautiful, It has kind of this continuity.
Tailgating is a huge part of college football in the setting of a great atmosphere. I was in Manhattan during their homecoming and explored what their tailgate scene was all about.
About family. At the end of the day, it's about a game, right? And it's about having a good time. And, you know, we appreciate you guys being here, and we appreciate having the opportunity to be here ourselves. So why wouldn't we just have a good time together? You know, the world's a crazy place right now, so, you know, let's just all enjoy life.
Most colleges around the country believe they have a top game day atmosphere, but not how the Little Apple does it.
It's not just the locals who believe the game day culture in Manhattan is different. Opposing team fans who make the trip have nothing to worry about when it comes to trash talk.
Oh man, the atmosphere, the fans are just phenomenal. Everybody's super welcoming, and when we were walking up, you know, from the parking lot, you could smell a good brisket. That's when you know it's going to be a good game day.
The warm personality is felt through the unique qualities of the town, like the Johnny Caw statue, a wheat farmer and famous fictional character in Kansas. Bill Snyder Family Football Stadium is also unique with its castle-like architecture and stone exterior. The Little Apple did not disappoint with its game day atmosphere and welcoming small-town personality. For the Poke Report, I'm Noah Blackwell.
Thank you, Noah. Now, I gotta say, wish the game turned out better, but I'm glad to cross Manhattan, Kansas off my Big 12 bucket list.
I'm bummed out that I didn't get to go. I know Jace did a really good job, but down the line, one day, I want to go to Manhattan and experience
Maybe we'll
it.
have to go as alumni together, okay?
Oh,
let's write that
that'd
down.
be fun.
All right, well, let's move past OSU's loss and take a look at the rest of the Big 12 last week. We are now joined by our Big 12 expert, Jace Andrews, up in the studio. Jace?
Thanks, Alex and Asa. I'm still trying to recover from the Cowboys game as well, but let's try and move on and look at some of the other Big 12 games from last week. Let's start first with TCU taking on West Virginia in Morgantown. This was a high-scoring game from two really good offenses. First quarter, West Virginia on top 7-0 when Max Duggan finds Tay Barber for a 71-yard strike as both offenses were just getting started. We move ahead now, fourth quarter, Mountaineers down 10, and JT Daniels trying to mount a comeback as he tosses it to Reese Smith, and he snags the ball out of the air and holds on as he takes a hit to bring West Virginia within 3. A couple of drives later, it's the Horned Frogs and Savion Williams catching his third touchdown of the year, this one sealing the victory for TCU and keeping their season perfect. We now travel over to Ames, Iowa, where the Cyclones, still looking for their first conference win, are taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. We start in the second quarter with the game tied at 3, and Oklahoma setting up to take the lead with a field goal of their own, but whoop, it's a fake. Michael Turk, the punter, finds the kicker Zach Schmidt for a 2-yard dump pass, and Schmidt finds the end zone to give OU a 10-3 lead. We go into half with the Sooners up 13-6. Third quarter now, and Dylan Gabriel throws his only touchdown of the day to Jaleel Farouk, and Oklahoma up 20-6 now. Oklahoma comes out on top with the final score 27-16, and they improve to 5-3 ahead of their matchup with Baylor. Speaking of Baylor, they were in Lubbock taking on the Red Raiders. The Bears were looking like their normal selves in this game, with the standout freshman Richard Reese putting the ball in the end zone 2 times in the second quarter to give Baylor a commanding 17-3 lead at the half. Late third quarter now, Baylor on top 24-10 and make that 24-17 as Byrne Morton runs it in from 8 yards out to shrink the deficit to 7. But the fourth quarter was all Bears as they score not once, not twice, but 3 times in the fourth to give Baylor the 45-17 victory. Alex, Asa, I will see y'all in just a bit for our weekly pick'em.
Thank you, Jace. Yes, we'll see you later on in the show.
Ever wonder what it's like to coach your first year as a head basketball coach? How about how the Cowboys are doing in the NBA? We have all that coming up for you up next.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, you know, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Welcome back, everybody. It's good to have you here, and it is a good day to be a Cowgirl basketball fan.
Yes, it is. The team tipped off on Tuesday in an exhibition match. Derek Mendez has the recap.
The Oklahoma State women's basketball team commenced its J.C. Hoyt era in their exhibition game Tuesday night against Northeastern State. The Riverhawks grabbed an early lead, but it didn't last long as Naomi Alnadas found Lexi Keys on the wing, who hit a three and moved the Cowgirls into the lead. OSU would not fall behind again after securing the lead, and they went on to close the first quarter on a 20-4 run. Alnadas found her shot in the second quarter and hit back-to-back threes to lead an 8-1 run and put the Cowgirls ahead 32-13 around the halfway mark of the second. Alnadas was the leading scorer in the quarter with 11 points as the Cowgirls outscored the Riverhawks 20-1 and had a 45-13 lead going into halftime. Cassidy DeLapp also had a solid quarter with 10 points, and Alnadas praised her performance off the bench and her importance to the team.
You think about the amount of boards. I mean, we don't have the stats right now, but anytime we were shooting high percentage too, but anytime we would miss, Cassidy was around rebounding and having putbacks. So I know it's not about the amount of time that you're playing. It's whenever you have those minutes, what you're doing with it. And I know that if we didn't have Cass, it would have been probably a different outcome, but she was going for it. So I'll give her a lot of props.
Coming out of the break, the Cowgirls continued to score, going on an 11-0 run. The Riverhawks could not figure out how to keep up with OSU's offense in the last two quarters as they continued to have looks beyond the arc and dominated inside the paint as well. The Cowgirls finished the game with a dominating 91-41 victory, increasing its exhibition contest win streak to 26 in a row. OSU also ended the night with 6 scores in double figures. J.C. Hoyt was pleased with the team's performance and acknowledged how proud she is of her players.
They have been so bought in and just believed from day one that they got here, that they came to do something really special. And I think that tonight it was just so rewarding for me as a coach to be able to see, that come to fruition.
The Cowgirls look to continue to build from this win with their season opener coming up on November 7th at Gallagher-Iba Arena as they will face UT Rio Grande Valley with tip-off scheduled for 5 p.m. Reporting for the Poke Report, I'm Derek Mendez.
Thank you, Derek. Asa, what are you most excited about this season?
So, Alex, as you know, I am my dream is to be a sportscaster, to do play-by-play and to broadcast. And one of my favorite things I did as a junior at Oklahoma State was I got to broadcast with Jace Andrews.
Oh, yes.
We did close to a dozen games of women's basketball. So it's always fun to go into Gallagher-Iba and get to describe the game with a good friend.
Well, hopefully you guys can get to do that again more this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're now going to bring on our Big 12 basketball expert, Tony Whitmore. Tony, take it away.
Thanks, guys. The Cowgirls had an extremely great start to their season with a 91-41 win over Northeastern State Tuesday night in their exhibition game. Coach Hoyt was extremely pleased with her team and their offense after the game, and leading scorer Cassidy DeLapp had 16 points and 9 rebounds. The Cowgirls will be back in action here in GIA on Monday at 5 p.m.
Thanks, Tony. I'm super excited for basketball season to be here in Stillwater.
All right, well, while college basketball is just getting underway, the NBA is fully in force. We are going to take a look at how of our former OSU stars are doing on the hardwood this season. First, let's get started with the OKC Thunder's very own Lindy Waters. The Oklahoma City native is getting significantly less minutes than he had last season, and as a result, his totals aren't anywhere close to where they were last year. Waters has only played in 2 games thus far, averaging 1.5 points per game on 16.7% shooting with 1 rebound. Not the greatest start to the season, but he should see improved minutes, and the totals should rise as well.
Next on the list is the feisty all-star defender from Boston, Marcus Smart. Smart is 6th on his team in scoring and 1st in steals and assists. As the reigning defensive player of the year, Smart is averaging 9.5 points per game to go with 6.2 assists and 3.2 boards. He's also got 1.3 steals and 34.2 minutes played.
Last but certainly not least is the 2021 #1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham. The young star for the Pistons is already seeing increases in his totals from last year and is more of a facilitator on the court. His shooting percentage is also increasing. The second-year man out of OSU is shooting just under 45% this year while averaging 23.1 points per game while notching 6.1 rebounds per game and 6.8 assists. Be sure to take a look on all of our pro pokes on the hardwood all season long. Have you ever imagined what Pistol Pete and the Sooner Schooner looks like on ice? We'll show you what that'll look like and our fan favorite Pick'em segment after this break.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
Welcome back to our final segment of the Poke Report.
I know many Okies aren't hockey fans, but there is a big matchup on the ice this weekend between our Cowboys and the school down south. Drew Allen has the story.
In just the second year since inception, the Oklahoma State hockey team is preparing to play on its biggest stage yet. The Cowboys are competing in Bedlam against the Oklahoma Sooners on November 5th in Tulsa's BOK Center. The BOK Center is home to the ECHL's Tulsa Oilers and seats over 19,000 people. Oklahoma State hockey president Jacob Thompson is excited to see the team that he started get this opportunity.
No, it's insane that we got to pull this off, and we wanted to start a Bedlam rivalry anyway. And I think it's going to be great playing in front of so many fans. It's going to grow OSU hockey and OU hockey's recognition, and I think it's just going to make the sport bigger in Oklahoma itself.
Bedlam is always the most exciting and hyped up game every year for every OSU sport, and this year hockey is no different.
Playing the Bedlam game is probably going to be the highlight of my hockey career. I don't think I'll play hockey once I graduate, so it's definitely an experience of a lifetime.
I think it'll definitely be a intense game, and it'll definitely be something that
I really think you're going to be able to compare. It's going to be intense, and it's going to be a show.
The Cowboy hockey players admitted to having nerves going into the biggest game of their playing careers, but they said the excitement outweighs the nerves to see a big opportunity for a team that has done so much for them.
I've never played on like a college team really. I've been playing juniors, but I had the same aspects of playing juniors and college, but I got to know more people. More people started kind of recognizing me on campus and stuff, so it was a good time meeting a lot of people.
OSU hockey has provided me with community at OSU. I made friends for life, and it's just been great. I could never imagine having such a great time. These great people around me at my time at OSU.
The players insist the nerves can't compare to the excitement of playing in a bigger arena in front of more people together as a team. For the Poke Report, I'm Drew Allen.
Thank you, Drew.
Swinging on over to tennis, both the Cowboys and Cowgirls are finishing up their fall season this weekend. Let's take a look at how both teams shaped up this fall. Starting off with the Cowboys, the team attended 7 tournaments over 2 months. They started off at the Orlando Fall Shootout, and Alex Garcia and Alicio Basil were 2 standouts. Garcia, a senior, and Basil, a freshman. Both men finished with 3 wins over the weekend. A few weeks ago, the team went a perfect 8-0 on the first day of ITA Regionals in Fayetteville. Basil and Garcia did well here too, with Garcia being the lone Cowboy to advance to the quarterfinals, where he ultimately fell. Most recently, the Cowboys repped America's Brightest Orange down in Norman at the Norman Future. Tyler Zink, a senior with his partner George Goldhoff of Baylor, took home the trophy in doubles action. The duo defeated fellow Cowboy Alicio Basil and his partner in the championship. This weekend, the team is down in Tuscaloosa competing in the SEC Big 12 Showdown. The tournament started this morning and will conclude on Sunday. Cowboy Tennis on Twitter will have updates. The Cowgirls competed in 6 tournaments this fall from coast to coast, California to Stillwater to North Carolina, but they started their season in Lubbock. We've talked about several of these Cowgirls throughout the season, but they're worth mentioning again. At the ITF 15K Lubbock Pro Circuit, Raquel Gonzalez and Ayumi Miyamoto were the stars. Gonzalez ultimately defeated Miyamoto to advance to the quarterfinals, where she fell. Sofia Rojas has been on top this fall, which started with her championship victory in the ITA Intercollegiate Championships in San Diego. This win earned her a wild card to professional tournament as well. She defeated the 7 seed in 3 sets. This weekend, the team is hosting the Big 12 Fall Invite. Like the Cowboys, the girls started action earlier today. The Cowgirl Tennis on Twitter has updates. While it hasn't been announced yet for the Cowboys, the Cowgirls just released their spring schedule earlier this week. Highlights include the season opener in Vegas, January 13th, their first home match February 25th, and regular season conclusion on April 16th. Be on the lookout for a schedule release from the Cowboys hopefully in the next week or so, but like I said, check out both teams on Twitter as they are competing currently.
Alex, now is the time for the fan favorite part of the show, the Big 12 Pick'em.
All right, before we get into our predictions for this week, let's take a look at our season records. Asa, I know you missed the very first week of the Poke Report, so you're always going to be 2 games behind, unfortunately. Your record is 6-4. Jace is an even 50-50 on the season with a record of 6-6. And I had an amazing week last week. If it wasn't for the Cowboys loss, I would have gone 4-0, but I improved to 7-5 on the season.
So, consolation prize, though, I have a winning percentage and Jace doesn't.
That is correct.
Okay. That's, sorry, Jace, I know you're in the studio. That probably didn't make you very happy, but there's a silver lining to this, I guess.
All right, well, let's start off with the pick'em. First off, Baylor in Norman taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. Asa, who do you have in this one?
Okay. So, in the Big 12, especially in college football, you always want to go with the momentum rule. Teams that are on a winning streak, teams that are looking confident, looking fast, looking smart. You tend to go with that. However, from all the trauma I have from watching Oklahoma State lose to Oklahoma year in and year out, and watching Lincoln Riley just do whatever he wants in this conference, I still feel like OU has that respect and kind of disdain for what's been happening to them.
Even though Lincoln Riley's not here anymore.
Correct. But Oklahoma just shows me glimpses of some top-tier playing. So I'm going to go with the Sooners.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the momentum. The Bears, they had that big win over Texas Tech last week that you and I did predict. So I'm going with the Bears. I think that they will be triumphant in that school down south. Jace, who do you have?
Now remember, last year it was the Bears getting the better of the Sooners in Waco. Sooners now definitely looking for revenge, this time in Norman, and I honestly don't think they get it. Baylor looks great against Tech, and I think they'll look even better against this game. I got the Bears coming out on top.
All right, so Jason and I agree here. We got the Baylor Bears coming out on top.
I don't know if you want Jace Andrews being the one to side with, but okay.
All right,
Okay.
well, we'll see. Moving on, the next matchup, Texas against Kansas State.
This is an interesting one. This is very interesting, and I guess I'm really going back on my words sounding like a hypocrite, because Kansas State has all the momentum in the world right now. They're looking great. They could even make a push for a Big 12 title game. However, Texas historically has done very well against Kansas State in the last 10 years, even when they were going 5-7 and barely qualifying for bowl eligibility. And Texas is going to try to find their identity. Sarkisian's starting to feel the hot seat a little bit. So there's going to be an upset, and I got the Longhorns winning that one.
Jace, who do you have in this one?
All right, in this one, I'm going to have to go with Texas, as I just think there's going to be a hangover game for K-State, and I don't see Texas dropping any more games in the rest of the season.
Okay, well, I don't know if I agree.
I like it, Jace. I
don't
like
think
it.
that Texas will completely win out. However, I do think that they're going to win in this game. I think the OSU loss was more of an OSU defeat than a Kansas State win. I think the Longhorns have more in them than Kansas State does.
Agree.
All right, now the undefeated team in the Big 12, TCU taking on Texas Tech. What are your thoughts on this one?
If there's any disagreement amongst us three, I think someone's got to check into like a hospital or something. Somehow, right? TCU's going to be winning this one, no problem. As scary as Tortillas can be, and all the good that Coach McGuire is doing down there, that is not going to be able at all to compete with Max Duggan and what TCU is doing.
So you're saying that a horned frog is scarier than a tortilla?
Absolutely.
Is that what I'm on to at night?
If I see a horned frog in my car versus a tortilla in my car, you forget about it. I'm not going in my car. I'm calling AAA.
Okay, well, I have the TCU horned frogs coming out on top as well. Jace, can we make it 3 for 3?
Although Tech has looked good at times, I really don't think they get it done here. Horned Frogs are a team that is definitely going to be matched up with the rest of the season. I think they remain undefeated this weekend.
Taking a look at tomorrow's matchup, we all have the Cowboys coming out on top. Hoping the last week's loss was the reset the team needed, and OSU can come out of Lawrence with a win.
That'll do it for today's show. Make sure you're following The Poke Report on all social medias for everything OSU Athletics. I'm Alex Husky.
And I'm Asa Lucas. Don't forget, go Pokes!
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is a best that is very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why I make our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our thoughts of uniqueness. Linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Amazing Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
My name is Dennis Abernathy. I lived here since 1968, and I consider myself one of Stillwater's oldest original family jewelers. Here at Dennis the Jeweler, we're more about personal service. My father always told me that anybody can sell the jewelry, and what we're doing is completely different, learning to do the repair work. That is one thing that will keep your business alive, because anybody can sell it, but not everybody can fix it. To me, jewelry is very, very personal. Every piece of jewelry has its own story, and I get to hear hundreds of stories from my clients, which I love to hear. There's always a story with it. I mean, you buy a piece of jewelry for a show of appreciation, a sign of love. There are a lot of different aspects of jewelry when you purchase it.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Writers Room. I'm your host, Tessa Durrell, and today I am joined by Ocali writers Peyton Little and Melissa Clausen. So why don't we start off today's episode with just letting you guys introduce yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get things started. So my name's Peyton. I'm from Ponca City, Oklahoma. It's kind of a big town, kind of not. You know, it's got a few Broms, a few Sonic drive-ins, and things like that. But overall, a fun place to grow up. And I'm a multimedia journalism major in my sophomore year.
Thank you for having us. I'm Melissa Clausen, and I'm a multimedia journalism major, and I'm from Brazil, so there's that. And my passion is to write, and that's it.
So why did you guys pick OSU as the school you wanted to attend?
Yeah, so growing up, we were OSU fans. Ponca City's just about 45 minutes away from Stillwater. My dad actually attended a tech school called OSU Oklahoma at the time. So a lot of my family are actually OU fans. So that kind of started the OSU fan, and then my brother. And as I got older, I remember watching OSU football games. And when it came to choose my college, it was a no-brainer for me. OSU was just the dream pick, and now I'm here.
Your story's a lot better than mine. I just got more scholarships here than I did at OU, so here I am.
So you guys both write for the Ocali. How long have you guys been writing for the Ocali, and why did you decide to start writing for the Ocali?
Yeah, so I got an email from Mary Daniels, one of the advisors at OSU. Both our advisors. So I got an email from her talking about an Ocali open house. I didn't get to attend it, but I got to swing by for the first sports meeting. And then from that moment, I just hit the ground running and just started writing for the Ocali, and that's been over a year now. It sounds kind of crazy to think about, but yeah.
I think we started at the same time. Mm-hmm. I actually came to the Ocali TV first, but my passion is to write, so I ended up asking around and seeing what I could do with writing, and they told me to find John Kelsey, the Ocali's advisor, and he was really, really nice. And I started about a year ago and never stopped.
Awesome. So out of all the stories you have written, do you guys have favorites that you've done?
Yeah, I think I can think of one off the top of my head. So my brother had a friend in college named Matthew Smith. Was supposed to graduate with him class of 2021, and then he actually got a cancer diagnosis of leukemia. But he was able to come back from that, and that was one of the coolest stories I got to be a part of. Is get to not only talk to a friend of my brother's, but to hear such a cool story of a comeback cowboy getting to pursue his degree in not multimedia journalism, that's me. Chemical engineering, and so it's been cool to see him on campus. He actually wears this big orange suit during game days and things like that. So he's a really cool guy, even cooler story. So.
Awesome. Asking me to pick my favorite story is like asking me to pick my favorite kid. But I love the Queen story. I reported on her death, and I love my Buddy Guy story, a jazz singer that came to the McKnight Center. It was really special.
That's awesome. So you guys are both, we actually have classes together. So how does writing for the Ocali help you in the classes and the curriculum that you're being taught here at OSU?
Yeah, I think it made this transition into style and structure, taught by Abernathy, a little bit easier. Some of the things that we're taught in that class, you kind of see through the lessons you learn through the Ocali, and I think growing pains. I've made a lot of mistakes throughout my time in the Ocali, but those mistakes have helped me learn, and it actually made that transition into style and structure a whole lot more, painless for me.
I agree with Peyton. Style and structure helped me a lot, and I have electronic communications with Max Andrews, and that has helped me figure out a new world in journalism that I wasn't aware of
Awesome. So you guys are both writers. Where is your dream job, or what is your dream job after you graduate from OSU? Very good.
That is an excellent question, and if I'm being quite honest, I don't really know the answer right now. I'm just kind of, making my way, building my resume, kind of going throughout and seeing, whatever's on the table, and God has planned. I think that's just where I'm going to go.
Sports writing?
Sports writing, multimedia journalism, production, I'm open to anything that
He does it all.
He does it all.
No, but
My dream is to work for the New York Times. It has always been, and I don't care if it's been 20 years, if it's been 40 years, as long as it's before I die. I want to work for the New York Times one day.
Yeah. So you said earlier you're from Brazil. So do you have any story as to why you decided on Oklahoma for college?
I was an exchange student during my senior year of high school, and it was a random kind of thing. Host families pick their students, and my host family picked me, and they are from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And I had a great experience, a great exchange year, and I knew I wanted to come back for college because it was my dream. And so my mom just told me to be close to Oklahoma and my host family. So that's why I picked Oklahoma State.
Go Pogues.
It was random. Yeah, go Pogues.
That's awesome. So we're super excited that you guys are here with us today, and that's about all the time we have here for this segment. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of Louisa's other stories and hear a little bit more from her side as to why she chose OSU. So we'll be right back after this break.
My name is James Vermeedy. Fired Up Skilling is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all three met, the three owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, get you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
Well, how I got started was my daughter said, Mama, why don't we rent a booth at the Quarter Horse Show? And it was very, very good because, when you're giving your jelly away for free, people really do love it. But when you ask them to pay for it, then that's the true test. What makes my product so unique is the Scotch bonnet pepper. And the Scotch bonnet is a Jamaican pepper. And I had lived in Cuba, Jamaica for 4 years. So I learned how to handle the pepper and how to cook with it. I always say, you don't do this on your own. I mean, you have so many people that help you along the way. For me and for many of us, that's my name on that jar. And it better be good.
We're back here in the writer's room with Kate and Louisa, and now we're going to talk to Louisa about her background and why she chose OSU. So you told me about this picture you have at Paul Miller before you even came to school here. Can you tell me how visiting OSU inspired you and made you want to come here?
Yeah, my host family, they're really OSU fans. And honestly, I had no idea what OSU or OU was or what the love was about. So we came to Homecoming 2019, and I was just blown away by the proportion of people's love for this school and how they admired the school. So I remember we were walking around, and my host mom at the time, she was like, this is the journalism building. And I looked at her and I was like, it would be a dream to come to school and realize I would love to, but it will never happen. I mean, it's so expensive that I didn't think it was going to happen. And we took a picture. She was like, let's take a picture in case one day it happens. And we did. And so now every time I walk in the journalism building, I'm just like, wow, this is a dream come true.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've gotten to do a lot of cool stories and a lot of big events here at OSU that you get to write about. And one of those was about Miss OSU. So can you give me a little synopsis of that story or what that experience was like for you.
Yes, it was my first pageant ever. I went with my best friend, so that was a fun time. I had no idea what the rules were or what was going on, but the girls were so smart. They were so talented. My job was basically to just tell what was going on. And I got to interview amazing girls, Rachel Davis and Brittany Rain. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. And of course, I got to interview Miss OSU, Peyton Shelton, and that was a great experience. Yeah.
So what is it like? These are pretty big events. You also got to do the Philharmonic. Have you gotten to do any networking with those experiences? What has that done as far as opening you up to different ideas to write about, different places to go with your career?
Yeah, the Philharmonic story was such a great opportunity. I actually have to thank my college, Video College, Jaden. He's the one who let me go in his place because I didn't know it was happening. And I actually ended up sitting next to the New York Philharmonic publiciter, and I got to interview her, and that just opened my eyes. I mean, I'm passionate about New York. I want to live in New York, and just going there, listening to great music, and seeing great professionals was incredible. And writing the story was, I could hear the music while I was still writing, and it was just beautiful.
So this can be a question for both of you guys, but how does getting to cover these extraordinary events change how you look at different stories as you go along?
Wow, good question.
That's a hard one. So for me, it's just kind of surreal, just to get to see these events play out and then having to think differently, like, okay, this is a moment I can write about, or this is something that might be interesting that people want to know. You learn to kind of like pinpoint, even quotes, is what I've noticed. You can tell, like, this is going to be like headline material, or this is, it might be a little tougher to formulate a story on it. But yeah, it makes you look at events from a completely different angle in that sense of things.
I think we get good at noticing details too, and just writing about those details, making the stories different. Because if you're writing reviews all the time, then like, okay, what's different about that? Or like covering events, what's different about that? So it helps us realize details. And like Peyton said, I notice good quotes now way faster than I did last year.
What's it like getting, just in this last like 30 seconds, what's one skill or one word that describes something you've gotten really strong at from getting to do these different?
Grammar.
I think having to walk up to people and just ask them questions like a year ago, I don't know if I would have had the courage to walk up and do that.
That is true.
That's awesome. So next we're going to take a look at some of Peyton's work, but that's all the time we have here for this segment. We'll be right back in the writer's room.
Here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one who got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pull behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting me and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's given us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us, and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
We're back here in the writer's room, and now it's time to to take a look at some of Peyton's work. Peyton, each week during football season, you have an iconic story of the uniform update. So can you give us a little synopsis and summary of what that story is like?
Yeah, so to start off, it was just mainly like, oh, here's how many times they wore this, here's what they wore, this is what it looked like. And I was like, oh, if you looked at the picture, you read the article. So I wanted to do something new with it. So this year I've tried to add in student quotes, like what they thought of it, the look of it. Some random stats, how many times they've worn it, the last time they've worn it. And now, and I'm very excited I get to do this now, is the Ocala uniform ranking. I get to do that each week and give it like from scale of F to A, like what I think of it. And so that's been fun having to formulate that, especially right after you go to those games and you've seen them in person. What do they look like in pictures? All these factors that go into those uniform rankings.
Yeah. So what does that story mean to you? It's something. It's not repetitive, but it's something you get to come back to each week. So what kind of weight does that hold with you?
Yeah, it's like an old friend. I get to see it every week, and getting to do it last year and then getting a chance to go and do it this year. It's kind of, during sports meetings, it's funny. Sometimes I'll walk in and when we're delegating stories, my name's already written by the uniform squad. But no, it's fun. I'm a big football guy, and the uniforms are definitely something that, while subtle, people take notice of. Like, I think that definitely makes the experience of a football game. A lot of people on social media and even in the stands, take notice of what logo are they wearing, what colors, how does this match, what would this look like with this, and the speculation is the fun part of that too.
Yeah, we get to talk about it every Thursday almost. I always ask you. And how much homework goes into figuring out or guessing what uniforms they're going to wear, and even the background you have on each uniform as far as how many losses and whatnot for each uniform. What is that like? What's the preparation like for you?
I'd love to say that's off the cuff. I have a collection of pictures. When I first started this, I'm like, this is going to be a big project. I'm going to have to keep this updated. So I have a collection of pictures from 2016, that's when they first updated the uniforms, to now, 2022. And I'll go through and I'll pick out, okay, they lost this game, they won this game, they've done this. Last time they wore this was this day, and I'll just go through and I'll pinpoint that and find it. Like I said, I'd love to say it's off the top, but I kind of have a cheat sheet with me. But yeah, it's just a fun experience getting to sort through those pictures and then almost get a little superstitious with your predictions sometimes. Trying to pick out like, oh, okay, well, they lost last time they wore this. Are they going to do it again? We'll see. And so it's all part of a mystery, but it's all in fun. It's something that it doesn't affect the terms of the game, but it affects the atmosphere and overall fan experience. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome story too because not just sports fans can find interest in that. It kind of bridges a gap between lifestyle stories and sports stories. So, what does that mean to you that you can kind of reach a vast audience with this piece?
It's fun. Like I said, a lot of people take notice of it, and it kind of probably kick-started my interest in writing for lifestyle, which I do now. Even, like, not huge sports fans will reach out to me and talk about the uniforms like, well, I don't think this look looks good, or I think they could have done this better. Even, shout out to my mom, every week will text me, I like these look great on TV. It's like, these could use some work. So even any fan can just get involved with the uniforms, like even if you know most about, who the third string quarterback is for the OSU Cowboys, or if you're just there to have a good time, anyone can talk about the uniforms. And that's what makes it so fun and acceptable. It's a people thing.
Yeah, each week now, Louisa knows I look at uniforms now because of reading your pieces. So, Louisa, as a fan, how do stories like this pique your interest in sports?
Oh, I think it's fantastic because I personally am not interested in sports or anything, but seeing Peyton do this is amazing. It's so interesting, and I love a good uniform. That's the first thing I say when I go to the games, and I love that he's doing that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and these pieces, that are repetitive, what kind of lessons do you get to learn with that? What different keys are there to making sure it's good each time, fresh each time?
Well, it's one of those things, like I said, you learn from failure. And so it's something you can just kind of perfect as you go and go about it. I like to think I have a pretty good idea of what they look like now. But the repetition is nice, and it's not. So you try not to get caught up in the monotony. There's only so many ways you can say, they wore this. So you got to get creative, and it's like a challenge almost. It's fun to get to think of different words from a grammar perspective, like you said. You get to think of different things, like how can I word this differently to make people more interested in it?
Yeah, so that's all the time we have for this segment. But we will be right back after this break for our final segment of today's episode of The Writers' Room.
salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Eighth in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
We are back, and it is time for our final segment of today's episode. So we're going to talk about OSU football. Now, Luisa, coming from Brazil, what was it like getting to watch college football in America in the stands being a student?
Football is not a thing in Brazil. We're a big soccer fans. And so when I got here, one, I didn't understand a thing of what was going on. So there's that. And two, I think I started watching high school football, and then starting to watch college football. It was such a big change. I like going to the games just because it's an atmosphere, they're fun, it's so loud, but I still don't understand football. Maybe just a little bit, but...
Are you learning?
I'm learning. My boyfriend and my best friend are doing a good job keeping me updated. Yeah.
Are you having fun at the game?
I have a lot of fun.
That's what matters.
Yes, I actually have fun looking at their uniforms. That's what brings me joy.
So where do you guys get to watch the games from? Are you both in the student section? What is that like for you? What's your experience like at football games?
Yeah, so I actually sit in the 200 level. I kind of go up a little bit. And on my way up to the 200 level, I usually see Luisa every time. So I sit with my brother and a few of my friends from Ponca, and then my roommates. And so it's a nice experience. I get to go with my brother every time. He lives in, not in Oklahoma anymore, so it's nice, to travel up and, you get to hang out a little bit, some brother time. So, yeah.
I go with the same group of friends every weekend. We go to tailgate before, and then we usually get to the gate 2 hours before the game starts. It's really early. And we stay there, and it's really, really fun. We have a good time.
Yeah. What's the craziest part of the fan aspect of college football?
It's just how much everybody actually loves that. It's just, to me, that's crazy. And I think it's beautiful too. It's crazy and beautiful at the same time. And people really get frustrated. I love looking around and everyone was like, and I'm like, it's okay.
You're like, it's just a game.
It's just a game.
So, Peyton, you get to write about the uniforms every week. How does that change how you watch each game? Does it affect your fan experience?
Yeah, actually, so if you've been to a game before, you know that the cellular in there is not great. So you can't really connect to the phone. So I'm constantly waiting. Right as the gates open, about an hour or so before kick, they announce the uniforms because, fans are in the stadium now. And I'm like, I got to see what these are. On Twitter. And so sometimes my cellular doesn't always load. So, you find out in person before you find out on social media. No, but it's fun, yeah. You get that feel of anticipation not only for the uniforms, but for the kickoff too. It's a great day. I love game days in Stillwater.
I do too.
Yeah. Does your group that you go with, do they read your uniform update? Are they there to tell you if you're wrong or right on the day?
They like to point out when I'm wrong, I'll tell you that. But I haven't been right too often this year, so I guess we haven't experienced that yet. But yeah, they definitely are able to poke fun at me whenever I'm not right, which has been every single time this year. But,
am I able to ask what you're thinking we're going to be wearing this weekend?
okay, so I actually looked this up before I got here. I wanted to make sure. So they have a tendency to wear gray pants in Lawrence, Kansas. So I think they're going to wear black helmets with the brand because they just wore cursive.
Love black helmets.
White shirts, jerseys, and then they're going to wear gray pants. This is what I think they're going to do. Now, have they done what I thought they would do? Absolutely not. But that's what I think they're going to roll with for this week at least.
Yeah. Do you think the uniform has anything to do with how they perform?
A lot of coaches are superstitious, but as far as it's gone, I can't tell. The one they just wore at Kansas State, which we don't have to talk about, they don't usually perform well in those. And so I thought it was interesting because the last time they wore those, they actually lost in Manhattan. And so I thought it was interesting they chose to go with that. So as far as actual play, probably not. As far as coincidences, absolutely yes.
In your mindset, yes.
Yes. In my brain, it's like, okay, what they wear, it depends on if they're going to
Do they have a stylist?
They have equipment managers that have to choose which one.
Okay.
I'm not actually sure who chooses that. I want to go talk to the people at the equipment.
That's a great story. That's how writer's mind work.
Exactly. So do you think the uniforms have anything to do with how they perform?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're feeling confident in what you're wearing, then it's everything. It's everything. It's everything. And it makes a great game to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. So this is one of my favorite parts of the show. Time for score predictions. So what do you guys think is going to happen this weekend?
I think it's going to be close. You know, Kansas has been kind of scrappy this year, and especially if Jalen Daniels comes back for Kansas, their quarterback, he was lighting it up before he got injured. I think that the Cowboys are going to respond after last week's game, and I think they'll respond pretty well. I'm going to go 31-27 Cowboys.
I have no scientific base in this, like I have no idea, but I think it's going to be 37-24, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I said 35-21. Now, I will refuse to not pick OSU, so I picked OSU. So hopefully it's, we'll get this. Now, what do you guys think the Cowboys can carry over from last game into this game that'll help them hopefully come out with a victory?
Boy, that's a hard one because there wasn't much to see in that last game, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I think whenever you get kind of embarrassed like that on a national stage, you're going to want to respond with some fire, especially with, how they're getting treated nationally right now. They've been under a lot of scrutiny, and so I think they're going to respond with a little bit of fire in their gut. I think we're going to see a lot more of a scrappy Cowboy team in Lawrence this week.
I agree with Peyton. Yeah. I agree with Peyton, and hopefully our quarterback will do better than he did last.
Definitely. So, as fans, what are you guys doing this weekend? Are you guys going to Kansas to watch? What's the plans?
So last week I went home. I won't be doing that this time. I think I'll be staying here in Stillwater. So the Cowgirls actually play a tennis tournament this weekend, so I'll be sharing some time watching that and watching the Kansas game. Probably stay home, maybe go to the dorms or the apartment a little bit, watch with the roommates, and
Yeah, I can't really escape watching football, really, and so I think I'll either be at home with my friends and roommates, or I'll be in Bartlesville with my family, my host family. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's been so much fun getting to talk with you guys about all of this, and hopefully go Pokes this weekend.
Go Pokes.
Win. So you can find more of their stories on Ocali.com. Of course, you can find Peyton's uniform update. Louisa always has stories coming out. You can even find more student work on the Ocali with the eColly and Ocali TV. But that's all we have for today's episode. But don't forget to join us next week in the Writers' Room.
the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't really get a Mountain View hot legs like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot wings, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is best berries, very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our thoughts of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Amazing Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as part of promoting our product.
For those who just joined us, Adrian Martinez still dealing with a knee issue. Bruce Vaughn running away from the Cowboys. Touchdown! Down. Kansas State. Oh, Bruce Vaughn on the accelerator again. Yeah, they're going to break the formation. They go empty. It's a throw.
Been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place open.
I've been a chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant, so the food is now up to 85% of the products we're getting are raised or grown locally. It's also based off of things I grew up eating in Southern Oklahoma, things my grandparents ate.
A lot of fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our things. The front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both the freshness. But made in Oklahoma means you get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. You get it straight from them.
We would design something, it would sit on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it, it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original, they were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our lives. That's what we held our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
from 1936. So that's just, it's rare for us, especially as OSU, to not put a single point on the board. It's usually at least a field goal, you know, and besides that, we have a strong offense is pretty much my point of that. But I feel like sometimes, especially on social media, you'll see it, that people don't agree with the way that our offense plays. And a lot of that falls back on Casey Dunn. Do you think that first of all, let's just ask, how do you guys think that he's done so far yourself?
I did see a lot of those on Twitter and everything, like fire Casey Dunn, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, again, like we've said this entire show, I feel like that game was just a fluke. Like, that was not something that an Oklahoma State team, how they've performed so far, that's not something that anyone expected. Exactly. No. So I think, I don't know, with Casey Dunn, I've been pretty happy with how he's performed with the team so far. I mean, like you said, 6-2 is not, or is it 5-2?
5-2.
5-2. 5-2 is not a bad record at all. I think it's just people's expectations aren't exactly being met for what they wanted them to be. So it's kind of hard, you know, with the public's perspective on it to think about, okay, is Casey Dunn really performing that well? But I mean, looking at it from, you know, the statistics aspect of it, I think it's been a pretty successful season offensive wise.
Zach, what do you think?
I'm not going to go full crazy Twitter naysayers, but I'm going to agree a little bit here. I think we've gotten the wins. I 100% agree, and we've done good with that, and we've made plays when we need to make plays. But a lot of times, I feel like it's felt like we're only making plays when it's needed.
Right.
We're not attacking, you know, early in drives and early in downs. Like I said earlier, it feels like run, and then okay, we got to convert a third and long for a pass. And so I think it's one of those things too. I feel like Casey Dunn isn't really using all the weapons he has. I mean, I think we have one of the strongest wide receiving core in college football, and at least the Big 12. I mean, Brendan Presley, Braden Johnson, who's injured now, but Johnson, Green, John Paul Richardson. I mean, we have a bunch of really good guys, and it feels like it's either a run up the middle or trying to bomb the ball on a fly route and trying to get a penalty when we have two really, really good slot receivers who could go up the middle.
Right.
We've gotten the wins, and it's really good. But then a couple times I feel like the play calling just isn't quite there, and at least isn't letting us do what we're best capable of doing.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people earlier, it's like, okay, we won the game, but it felt like, you know, they barely won it, or they had to make big plays when it's not needed to always have to make big plays. Just have a little consistent, quick, slant route, and that's what worked in the UT game, in my personal opinion. And, so I think he's done fine, but I think he could do a lot better.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of want to apologize. I feel like I've been hitting you guys with some kind of just rough questions today. I mean, the opener and now this one, I feel like they're kind of just rabbit hole questions. But before we get out of that rabbit hole, I wanted to say one thing. First off, my teacher, I'm in a class with Dave Hunziker right now, the voice of OSU football and basketball, one of the coolest guys I've ever met. And he says every single class, pretty much at least once a week you'll hear it from him. Football is the biggest sport that people love to talk about but know the least about, you know? It's such a bandwagon sport, and I think that's what kind of makes it awesome, is because you have so many people so invested, but at the same time, you have so many people fired up when just one little thing goes wrong.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of the case with Casey Dunn right now. A lot of people are frustrated with him. But if we, like you said, Emma, we look at the numbers, it's been a successful year. We've won 5 out of 5 games. We've lost 2. 2's not a big deal. We're still capable of getting to the Big 12 championships. We just really need to buckle down. We need to be successful throughout the rest of the year. But do you guys think there's really anything Casey Dunn can do to kind of get back in favor of the fans? Do you think that just coming out with a win today, he'd be okay again? Or do you think that it's kind of just like, it's the TCU game, and now it's the K-State game. He's kind of just...
I mean, it's Twitter. It's people. People have been at Mike Gundy's head for years now, and he's still here. I think no matter what, they're going to sway whichever way they want based on wins or losses. I think they just got to keep going with their game plan, maybe change a couple things, like I said, but I think none of that matters at the end of the day. It's about what's inside the team and what they feel is best for the team.
And I feel like it's one of those things, too. No one really knows what's going on in the booth. No one knows what's going on the sidelines. It's so hard to say. But... really quick, my last question is, do you guys see any similarities from our 2 losses out of the offense specifically in the TCU game and in the K-State game, was there anything that we kind of did wrong both times that could be a factor in today's game?
I just say big plays. It was different. TCU, it was passing big plays. K-State, it was running big plays. Just knowing who the big target is and who's their number one guy and not letting him get hot.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just we have to put a cap on those big plays and the potential that there is for them.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for our offensive breakdown today in the pregame show. But be sure to come back for our final segment, Bang or Bust, which is going to be a ton of fun. To commercial.
My name is James Remedi. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all three met, the three owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Welcome back to the pregame show. We're going to get into our final segment, Bang or Bust. But before we do that, let's do a little bit of a Big 12, just big game recap from today. So we've been watching in studio, actually, the Northwestern Ohio State game. That game's kind of done now, 21 Ohio State, 7 Northwestern. Did you guys really think Northwestern had a chance going into that game? They were 1-7.
No, I mean, it started out, 7-7, so there was a little bit of hope there. I was like, oh my gosh, no way, they might actually be able to pull this off. And then Ohio State did what they normally do. So
Northwestern's Northwestern.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I ask is because that's where Jim Knowles is at now. That's really the only other team that has some OSU pull.
Yeah. It's back-to-back weeks though for Ohio State. Starting off like you look like you're gonna lose, and then they pull away. So.
TCU, Texas Tech. We got 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. TCU's up 34-17 against Texas Tech. How did you guys think that game was gonna go?
It started off looked like Texas Tech had a chance, but yeah, TCU pulling away, still doing their thing. Is what it is.
Another big game is the Tennessee-Georgia game. I know once again, not a Big 12 game, but it is going to be the winner of that game is going to be first, you guys. Who just for fun, who do you think the winner is going to be?
Listen, I'm going to go against the beat. I'm going to go. Everyone's saying Georgia. I'm going to say Tennessee. Tennessee's been playing ranked opponents. Georgia hasn't. Georgia's playing South Carolina, Auburn, Vanderbilt. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think they have experience.
I'm also with that.
Let's go.
Yeah. I think honestly, the Rocky Top is such a cool place. Like any team. Anybody that comes out of there is so cool. So I'm here for it, and I'm here for the underdog because I think that Georgia just is kind of coming into this game. Yeah, we're number one. We're the best in the SEC.
I mean,
we'll see about that.
They played one ranked opponent.
Exactly. We'll see about that. Yeah, you were saying that earlier. 11 minutes left in the first quarter of the Baylor OU game. OU's already up by a touchdown. They're up 7-0 right now. I'm curious to see how this one goes. I feel like it'll be fairly even competition, but also OU's kind of been rising up, but also I don't really expect too much out of them this season.
They're just not where people kind of had them at the beginning, like going into everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who do you guys gonna
I never
take that
thought
one away?
I'd
Who do you
root
think?
for OU, but I'm going to say OU just so Baylor doesn't have the same Big 12 record as us if they win. So, but,
Yeah. They're such a confusing team to me
They
because
are.
we come out and we lose to them in the Big 12 championships, and I'm just like you guys, we had that game in the bag, but
and then we come out and play
Story-
them
yeah.
this year and
Yeah, and
play
it's
like we
just-
should have in the
it's-
Big 12 championship.
yeah,
and
it's a story for a different time,
Yeah.
And then 2:30 kickoff, West Virginia, Iowa State. That's going to be a good game. West Virginia really kind of was a shocking team last week for me against TCU. I don't know about you guys, but did you guys who do you think could see out on top of that game?
I really like West Virginia. I like JT Daniels. I just think they haven't been able to find it. But JT Daniels versus a really good Iowa State defense, so it'll be a good game. I'm going to take Iowa State, though, because of their defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say I'm going to take Iowa State just because of how they've been able to hold teams that usually you wouldn't think that they would be able to hold their own against, but they've been able to kind of hold them to a different level that no one really expected them to. So
I'm gonna go against you guys. I'm gonna say West Virginia. I don't actually know who the winner is gonna be. I just want it to be West Virginia because I just think that, first of all, JT Daniels went to one of my rival high schools, so I'm always
There you
rooting
go.
for a California boy. But then again, I just kind of want the underdog to win. That West Virginia gets a lot of crap. I feel like they don't really get a lot of praise, and they're really, honestly, not the worst team you've seen. So,
Right.
I'm going to give them a leg up today. I'm going to be, if I'm the only OSU fan rooting
That's
for them,
okay.
then I'm the only one alive,
And then what do y'all think about the Texas K-State game later today? How do y'all think that's going to go?
I don't
It's
know.
Big. It's big.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really, really want UT to win.
Yeah.
Just so we can have. I mean, we need a chance to make the Big 12 championship, and now that K-State beat us, we need them to lose 2 games and us to win out. So, it's possible UT and then K-State plays Baylor next week. So, I'm knocking on wood that Will Howard can be stopped and Quinn Ewers can have a good game. So.
I know. I'm really hoping the football gods are on our side today, you guys. We need a roles reverse for K-State today. They came out and played the most perfect game they could play against us, and we played the worst game we could play against. We played the worst game we could play against a Pee Wee league.
Yeah.
You don't like. I just want to go to the Big 12. I just want to have one more try before everything gets messed up. Everything's going to change. So I just want to have one more true Big 12 championship try.
I can't say the full quote, but the K-State head coach said the same thing to Mike Gundy. He said we played the best game we could ever possibly play. We played perfect. And Gundy said, well, you picked a really bad day to do it.
Yeah, insert bad word. Yeah. No, yeah. I know. I saw that too. I started laughing out loud. I was like, I don't know if you could say that. But honestly, Mike Gundy can really just do whatever he wants
really
at this
can.
point, though. Okay, but what we're here for, bang or bust. Let's get into it. Okay. My first question kind of is out the window now. I was going to say, do you guys think Gary Rangel will start at quarterback today? But I think we're all going to be on the same page with that one. That's a bang. Okay, so moving on then. Dominic Richardson gets a rushing touchdown today. Thoughts?
I'm going to say bang. I think coming off of not playing last week with a concussion, I think he's going to do it. I mean, he's going to come out. We're going to have to rely on him, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because we do have Rangel starting, who we've only seen throw 2 passes against, was it Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Yeah.
We've only seen him throw 2 passes against Arkansas Pine Bluff and didn't complete either one of those. So it's based off what we do know, we don't have a whole lot of, a whole lot of hope to put in that.
Right.
But again, that was at the very beginning of the season, and we haven't seen him since. So I don't know. I think a lot of bigger plays will go to Richardson today, though, and he'll be able to get through a couple holes in the Kansas defense.
Yeah, I'll go bang. Our 2 red zone guys are Spencer Sanders and Dominic Richardson. So, Richardson versus UT, 24 yards, but 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's our big guy in the red zone. No Sanders. I'll say bang.
I'm going to say bang as well. We didn't have him last week, and I think that was a big reason why we couldn't kind of put points up on the board is because he's our main guy. He's our main rusher. And with Gunnar Gundy being your main rusher in the previous game, you just know it just wasn't good. And having him back, there's no reason for him not to, as long as we don't perform poorly. So I'm going to go bang with you guys as well. Next question. I'm going to change it since I wanted to ask about Rangel, but I didn't obviously have the correct question prepared.
Okay.
Do you guys think he's going to get at least, let's go with 2 throwing touchdowns today? We only have seen him throw in the Pine Bluff game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, those are only 2 passes. It's very up in the air. I don't know what kind of strategy they're going to go with him. I mean, it's a behind closed door type thing. They've been
Right.
practicing all week with him with the ones, so they have a strategy. Obviously, I'm just curious which way it's going to go. I'll go bust just because we are more of a run defense or run offense. Sorry, and Gunnar Gundy I think will split time, so I'll go bust. Maybe he gets a passing touchdown, but I think the game plan will be a little different.
Yeah, I would say if it gets 1 passing touchdown, I'd say bang. But because they are probably going to split time 50-50 with Gundy and Rangel, I'm going to say bust as well. I might see him getting 1. But again, like Zach was saying, like they're just going to be in those scoring opportunities. They're going to be giving the ball to Richardson and Nixon in those plays because they know they can depend on them. So
I want to say bang because there's just so much time in all these games where I see the potential for it to happen. Like, it's just 2 throwing. It's just 2 passing touchdowns, you know? But then again, it's 2 passing touchdowns out of a guy we've only seen throw 2 throws from University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. True freshman, was supposed to redshirt this year, just getting thrown into this game, came into practice probably Monday, and was like, what the heck is going on? Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? If I was him, I'd be probably like shaking in my boots. You know, we all saw the poor video of Gunnar Gundy last week. I just was like, that was just so bad, you guys. I felt so, my heart like broke for him. I was like, poor guy, he's probably just hating his life right now. But I want to say, I'm agreeing with you guys. I do think he'll get 1. I think he'll get 1, but I don't know about 2. But I'm gonna have faith, and I'm gonna say he's gonna get 2.
Okay.
Next question: Bean throws a pick today. Thoughts?
Yeah, 3 games, 3 interceptions. He definitely is a big pass guy. 50 for 80. 80 passes in 3 games, 783 yards, 9 touchdowns. So he's going to be passing the ball. They do have a good running back, but passing is their way to go. So I'll go bang. They threw 2 picks, I think, versus Oklahoma, and then 1 in his first game. So I'll go bang. Why not? Give it to us. Hopefully our defense can get in front of one of the balls.
I'm going to say bang as well. I mean, especially if we do see, kind of like we talked about in the defensive segment, if we see Jason Taylor in there. I think he's just such a big playmaker for our team on defense that if that ball is anywhere off course for where Bean means to throw it, then like he's going to step in and take over that. So I'm going to go bang.
I'm going to say bang as well because we have guys like Mason Cobb and we have Tyler Lacey, who both of them have had. Mason Cobb had 1 interception so far this season. Tyler Lacey had 3. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to catch it today.
Especially with the backup.
Yeah, exactly, totally. My last banger bus question is Logan Ward punts for plus 60 yards. We haven't talked about him at all today. But before we get into that, what do you guys think? He's averaging 57 right now.
Averaging 57. Blood's going to be flowing. He's going to, first game, I'll go bang. High energy, high, spirits. Hopefully he'll do it. So I'll go bang.
I want to say bang as well just because, Tom Hutton, I feel like we all have a special little place in our hearts for him, and just seeing him out for this rest of the season now, rest of the career, I'm gonna go bang because I want to see this kid step in and be able to take over kind of what Hutton had going for this team.
Yeah, I'm gonna say bang as well. I think that, like you said, energy's gonna be high, blood's gonna be pumping. So I think that with the opportunities that he's going to have, there's going to be one that's going to go the distance. So I don't see why not. But that's going to do it for our show today. Before we head out, I wanted to say one last thing. The Cowboys are in white helmets, white jerseys, orange pants today. We're feeling a win. We're looking good. Why don't we come out there and do it really quick? So that's going to be it for the pregame show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And be sure to go watch the game on TV or go support the Cowboys in Lawrence. Go Pokes.
Hi, I'm Amanda Akins. I'm the owner of Hurricane Dixie Leather. I started this company back in about 2015, and I think that one of the most unique things about our store is that we're not just your everyday mom and pop leather shop. We use a lot of color and unique techniques that set us apart from others. We are a full Wrangler retailer. We have lots of Wrangler jeans and shirts. We've also got some other fun boutique clothes, and everything, all the leather goods in the store are made here in the shop. We also accept custom orders.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip?